So on this adventure, I head off on my bike to explore Prado Dam. After cutting through the Corona airport, I check out the remnants of the patriotic mural that was painted on the spillway in 1976. I locate an abandoned Boy Scout camp and find the remains of the town of Rincon. So make sure you hit that subscribe button as you sit back and enjoy this adventure. So as you can see, this video is a little bit different than most of my videos. I'm here off on my bike. It was the only way to get here. Hike or bike. I opted to bike. So we're at Prado Dam. Prado Dam was originally conceived in 1936, but it actually didn't get finished until 1940. Sadly, 2 years after a great flood that did a lot of damage in Orange County. Basin is designed to hold back the floodwaters from the Santa Ana River. You also have the Temecula Creek that pours into here, and Chino Creek. All comes in here. We'll give you a quick view of the water coming out. It's a little breezy out here. We'll see how this goes. But give you a little view of the dam back there and the mural. So the mural, which is currently in the process of being restored, they're taking off the old paint and getting ready to put on new, return it back to its former glory, was a controversy in and of itself. But let's talk about how the mural got here in the first place. 1776, Terry Smith got with her Corona High School coach, David DiPaolo. They came up with the idea of doing this mural. So David took it to the Corona High School student body and solicited ideas for what patriotic thing to put on the spillway. And Ron Kmeyer won. And so what this used to say was 200 years of freedom, 1776 to 1976. Right there in that center section was the Liberty Bell. As I said, the mural's in the process of being restored, but in its full glory, it's 120 feet tall and over 650 feet wide, which is twice as tall as the figures on Mount Rushmore and over 3 times as wide. So if you've been to Mount Rushmore, kind of puts things into perspective. So when they decided to paint this, they got a bunch of donations for paint. The high school students got together, spent the night out here for about 2 weeks as they painted this mural. And I'm excited to see it return to its former glory. For those of us who have been in this area for a while, we remember when it was put up, and we're excited to see it put back. It's a view of the top of the spillway. Now I'm heading off to the area back behind the dam where the town of Rincon once was. I'm not sure what this structure was. It was certainly heavy duty. 2 windows. And a door. So this area behind the Prado Dam was originally known as Rincon. That's Spanish for corner or nook, and was along the outskirts of the El Rincon Rancho, which was just north of the river. This town was started in 1860. By the 1880s, the Santa Fe Railroad had come through. And at that time, they established a post office, a school, 2 general stores, and even a hotel back here. But due to other towns being named Rincon, the Postal Service made them change it. So they picked the name Prado, which means meadow. This whole area was a large meadow before the dam was built, and they used it for grazing, ranch land, and agriculture. But when they began to build the dam, they had to move the railroad, and of course now the town was in the floodplain, so it ended up being abandoned as well. I'm not sure if this structure back here is actually one of the original structures, but where the Boy Scout camp was, according to a historic map I have, that was the center of what was the town of Rincon. I don't know if you can hear all the noise from the airplanes, but this is also right next to the Corona Airport, which also will be going extinct here in 2035 as the Army Corps of Engineers reclaims that land as well to use as a flood basin. I'll give you a quick walk around to the outside of this building before we head over to the Boy Scout camp and War Memorial. So the road we're on right now basically followed the old railroad path. They had to move the railroad tracks further to the south when they built the dam. But this was basically the old railroad path. So that's the old railroad path down here. You can see this path is way overgrown. So they moved the railroad probably in the late 30s, 1930s, to further north of here. This is where it went. There it is. What's left of Camp Prado, Boy Scout camp. I did my my best with a stick and a little broom Clean this off. See, here's the memorial plaque. Lieutenant Dennis P. Cook, U.S. Navy. November 1st, 1936, April 6, 1966. By your life, only can you prove your principles to the world and show to all there is a life worth living. He gave his life for the love of God and all of us. It's inscribed Camp Prado, November 1966. Lieutenant Dennis Phillips Cook was a U.S. Navy officer from Santa Barbara, California. And he came to this camp, and that's why they wanted to erect this memorial here for him. Lieutenant Dennis Cook flew the A4E Skyhawk night attack aircraft. And on April 6, 1966, he was launched off a carrier, and due to a catapult failure, his plane fell into the ocean, and he was never recovered. So they placed his memorial here. Best I can tell, he was a Boy Scout and used to come here to Camp Prado. I think it's only fitting we've got an aircraft flying overhead, and we're right next to the airport as well. Give you another look at those plaques. Troop 2, Santa Barbara, 1948 to 1952. Order of the Arrow, Canalino Lodge, number 90, 1951. See, they did a really good job erecting this thing. It stood the test of time.
While trying to research Prado Camp, I actually found some old Boy Scout patches online, which showed they had a camporee in 1960, a couple other camps in 64 and 65 at least. So I hope you enjoyed this adventure and history lesson into Prado Dam. I hope, as always, you'll like and subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you the next time we venture outside.